After talking to many of you over the last couple of days, we thought this might be a helpful lunch and learn. Something that has been modeled within the core collaborative is checking in with each other at the start of our meetings. Some of these meetings are planning sessions, some of them are working specifically on a task, others are just sharing out the projects we're on and getting a little bit of help. But we've found that checking in with each other not only has helped us interact more appropriately and understand where people are, what they're capable of right now, but just to help ourselves be more aware. And we've come up with this idea, and we've jokingly called it a solar coaster. Not solar as sun, but soul as in what's inside us. Because we found talking to our partners out across the country, to our internal team, to our families, that we seem to be riding this roller coaster where we go through these waves of great hope and excitement, and feeling that some of these challenges are opportunities, down to that other side of, how are the people we care about feeling? What's happening with our students? And having these worries. And so the idea of a roller coaster became something that really stuck out for us. And the first step to understanding where you are on that roller coaster is having a way to recognize what you're feeling and then label it. And I don't want to speak for everyone, but for myself at least, this is something I really struggle with. Now, this is the mood meter designed by researchers at Yale. You can go to the moodmeter.com, or sorry, the moodmeterapp.com, and download an app that lets you check in. But why this visual is so powerful for me is it gives me a vocabulary for feelings beyond just happy, mad, sad, tired, things like that. I've seen teachers have amazing success with this for character study, to understand, how characters are really feeling, be able to describe that in literature, and just as amazing success getting students to understand how they feel themselves. So the way it works is it's tracking two things. It's tracking levels of energy, and it's tracking levels of pleasantness, or almost like positivity. So when we get into this blue quadrant, kind of on that bottom left, this is both low energy and low pleasantness. And you can see at that bottom left corner is feeling alone. And that's what made me really want to talk about this today, because full disclosure, I had a different lunch and learn ready to go, but put it to the side for another week. Because feeling alone, it says, is the lowest energy, lowest pleasantness we can feel. And so many of our students and our colleagues and ourselves may be feeling that. Very high energy, high emotion, you can see that inspired, motivated, optimistic, all these different feelings. And when we look back to it, you can see how these spread across. So we highly recommend taking a little time out when you're working, whether you're working with students, colleagues, even within your own families, and just saying, okay, let's wait. It's worth our time before we start, and maybe even before we wrap up, to think about, what are we feeling? Why is that? What can we do about it? And then once you've been able to identify those emotions and help each other think through what it is you're feeling, do something about it. Now, the Mood Meter app and their website, if you go to Yale and search for Mood Meter, will have far more ideas than this, but here's a few that have really worked for us. Do something with someone you love. And we know many of us are separated, so that might have to be virtual, just like this. Get on FaceTime or Zoom or whatever you have, and just talk to someone you care about. In our home, we love to spend time reading with our daughter. My favorite time of day right now is bedtime. I go in, read with her, the Princess in Black, and try not to fall asleep. But that's special, and it revitalizes me. I get so much value out of it. Another thing my wife and I have been doing is breaking some rules and eating just some pure junk food, but having fun with it. Baking some cookies every few nights, and just sitting on the couch eating those together while we watch 30 minutes or an hour of something on Netflix. but just giving ourselves a treat that we know is not good for us, but it's fun, it's relaxing, and it's something we can share. And then another thing, of course, is to get out and get a little exercise. I know so many of us are locked down, but many of us have, we're still allowed to get out and go exercise if we can do that away from people, or just give yourself some exercise in the house. Just rolling around with my daughter for a little bit, wrestling, even just walking around the house while I'm reading something or sending messages has helped me. And so we hope that'll help you. So our goal, of course, as always, is to develop these empowered learners out there in the world and to have them feeling strong and successful and to have that sense of efficacy. But we want the same things for ourselves. And as we've seen so much lately, we can't give to others if we don't take that moment for ourselves. And after a session I was just on with Paul, he said, you need to take a nap or at least rest for a minute before we do this next thing we've got coming up. And that's hard to hear because we want to do so much. But as Dr. Alan Daly has shared with us, we are human beings, not human doings. So while we keep doing these amazing things, let's not forget that we have to take a moment and sometimes just be who we are. And we have to be aware of who we are to do well for ourselves and for others. So we are the Core Collaborative. These are ways you can check in with us. Please visit thecorecontributes.com. That's a website that is going to have access to lots of opportunities like this, just to check in, to learn, to see what people are up to, and to download a little journal. Because if you get that journal, you can use these as opportunities to reflect. And we would love to see your reflections, get you some feedback, and we can even get you some credit for taking time to do some new learning. We'll see you at lunch tomorrow. Thank you.